Hello everyone, welcome back to the Stitches and Scribbles channel. My name is Erin and I've got a podcast episode for you today. I have a lot of stuff to show you because I've really been cranking out finished objects because of some new things I'm doing here on my channel, but I also have quite a few acquisitions to show you. So let's dive right in. First of all, you can see the pile of finished objects behind me. I haven't had quite that big of a pile in quite some time. The first one you'll recognize if you whoop, I just dumped something on the ground. The first one you will recognize if you watched my most recent tutorial for the cold season cowl. But this is a virus stitch bandana cowl that I designed and put up on YouTube as a tutorial. So if you'd like to make it, you can check that video out. It should be the most recent one before this one. This is a really great way to practice the virus stitch if you'd like to kind of get the hang of it. And I think it creates a really cool, intricate cowl. So this is the version that I did in the tutorial. I actually also made a matching twisty headband. I know this looks really tiny, but because of the hook and the yarn I used, it has a lot of stretch to it. But I just made a cute little headband to match so that I can wear them as a set this winter. Probably when it's cold and gray and dreary out, I can pull this out for a pop of color. So that was the tutorial set. I also made it in this colorway first. So this was my test version. It was a different sock yarn in these like purples and teals and blues. I really like how this one turned out as well. I'll go ahead and try it on so you can see it since this one wasn't in the other video. But it looks crazy with this shirt. But I love the fit of this style cowl, so I will definitely be making more of them. If you tuned in at the end of September, I think I posted it. I also did a granny stitch version that I'll show you in a minute and called it the Halloween cowl. But I've been really liking this kind of quick, easy project that I can turn into a tutorial. So be prepared to see more versions of this cowl come out because I have quite a few in mind. So these were the virus stitch ones, the cold season cowl. Then, I don't know if I showed this in a podcast yet, but this was a cowl I did in a vlog when I was doing my garage sale and crocheting out in my garage. So this one is quite big and oversized and drapey. But this one I made in the granny stitch with a set of Milwaukee inspired mini skeins that I got from my local yarn store quite a while ago. This was actually making a replacement piece for another cowl that I had knit with this where I didn't like how it was sitting, so I just redid it. But then this was the inspiration kind of for the whole cowl series that I ended up doing. So again, this one, very, very oversized, very loose, very drapey. I think if I could do this again, I would not make the neck hole quite so big, but I was worried for some reason that it like wouldn't lay right if it was too small. This one was definitely an experiment. But then this was the version from the tutorial, which is why it was called the Halloween cowl. I used Hobie Halloween sock yarn to make this one, which is why it's all those lovely shades of purple and orange. But this one was really super easy. So if you're looking to get into some more different shaping designs with crochet, or even just kind of want the basics of how to make a shawl without committing to making a whole shawl, this is a great tutorial for you. It's just a granny stitch triangle that you eventually join together and work in the round to get that bandana cowl shape. But I really love this one. I will definitely be wearing it before Halloween. And then because two just wasn't enough of the granny stitch cowls, I also made it in this wonderful fall color. This was a yarn that I picked up from the Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival from Bumblebee Acre Farms, I think was the name of the company, but it was a Lord of the Rings inspired yarn. This one was called Bag End, and I do have another skein of this yarn, so I might make something matching with it. But I haven't decided yet. I just knew I wanted these fall colors available for my fall wardrobe, so I whipped this up as well. And then, continuing with the bandana cowls, I did one in worsted weight yarn. So this one is using the moss or linen stitch, and the yarn is, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby. I don't remember what the color name is, but I love this colorway. I think I've bought it a couple times now and used it for some craft fair stuff. So as you can see, if you do this in worsted weight, it gives a little bit of a different fit. It's a little chunkier. It's definitely going to be warmer, but you can do the same basic shaping design. It's just going to have a different structure to it. It's a little thicker. It stands up a little more instead of draping as much, but I still really like this one. And if you're wondering if you will get a linen stitch tutorial for one of these cowls, the answer is yes. This was my test piece for that, although I think in the tutorial version I will use sock yarn again, and I'm planning that as an Advent project this year. So you can expect to see that tutorial come out sometime in November so that you can prepare. And like with one of the other ones, I made a matching headband for that as well. I also thought this would be a good colorway for those like really dark, dreary, wintry days. Okay, those are my finished objects. So lots of cowls, definitely on a roll with those, but let's jump into some whips. So the first one that's sitting right next to me doesn't look like much yet. I have two panels so far that look like this, and this is going to be a sweater vest. So I'm working the front and the back at the same time, and these are from a couple of those sets of Karen yarn that were the Pantone colorway inspired ones. This is what the tags on those looked like. I have a couple different colorways. I think I had two of this set and then two other ones that were random colors, but I'm just working up a square in each yarn, or two squares in each yarn. Wait, how did I do this? I already forgot. I think from each ball of yarn I can get two granny squares out of it, which is why I'm doing the front and the back at the same time. And this is not quite the width I want yet. I think I want one more square to make it a little bit oversized, but the idea is that I'm going to have two panels, a front and a back panel, and the front panel I'll do the like half granny squares around the neckline to give it more of a V-neck shape. But I will then have a very colorful, unique sweater vest from all of these kind of random colors of yarn that I wasn't sure what to do with. I got all of these from Goodwill originally, so I think I only paid maybe $2 a set, so like $8 total for the yarn for it, and it's pretty good yarn. It's a, what is the fiber? Because it was called Pantone Bamboo Bits and Bobs. What's the fiber content? 60% acrylic, 20% nylon, and 20% viscose from bamboo. So really not that much bamboo in there, but it does give it a nice sheen and a nice drape. And I think it'll look really cool once it's all done. The colors that I happen to get kind of remind me of a picture book, and I can never remember what it's called, but it's the one with the elephant who has all the different like square, like colorful squares on him. I think that elephant's name is Elmer, but I don't remember. But that's what the colors reminded me of, which is definitely part of the inspiration for doing squares as the pattern. So we'll just add this to the librarian wardrobe of things that are subtly related to books without being too obvious. So that's one whip. I have a couple other crochet whips down there, but none of them are very active, so I'm going to leave those for now. My other active crochet whip is my other tester for the linen stitch version of the bandana cowl. I have extra crochet hooks everywhere apparently, and this one is very stuck. Here we go. So this one I'm creating with a set of minis to make it look a little bit more like what the final version is going to look like. These were minis that I got from a local yarn store in Missouri. It was the Seven Sisters yarn store, and I know that the colorway or the yarn maker is Knit Circus, but it starts with this deep orange, goes into a lighter orange. Now I'm on a gold, and it has a green, a deep bluey teal, and then a lighter bluey teal. So this will be kind of that bandana cowl style again, just a little bit more dense because of the stitch used. And the reason why I'm using this one as my tester is because I want to do this as an advent project. So with the idea that you could use a set of minis if you want, I'm going to be doing it with scrap yarn that I put into an advent calendar for myself. But that is going to be my advent crochet project this year. I keep trying to put this down somewhere because I'm like out of table space. We're just going to put it in a random bag over here. The version of that you will see for the tutorial will probably be made with this set of yarn, which is also a set of minis purchased from the same yarn store. I just don't remember what yarn this is or what the label is, but it's sock weight yarn. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minis. I think it's just 5. Yeah, 5 minis. So if you want something similar, you can look for mini skeins of the same amount. My other more active whip that I've been working on is my rainbow stripey sweater. I have decided that when I wear this to school for the first time, I will just have to read A Bad Case of the Stripes because that is the vibe it's giving off. So I'm working this with 2 Lion Brand Mandala skeins. They are the same colorway, they just started in 2 different spots. So one started in the orange and one started in the deeper blue. And I'm striping back and forth between them while working on this raglan sweater. So we started off blue and orange, then it shifted to like yellow and purple. Now it's kind of green and like a pinky color. But I'm getting kind of close to being done with the body. It's like, right now if I tried it on, it would hit like right at my hip, and I tend to like things a little bit tunic length. So I'll probably knit for a while longer to make it my desired length, and there's plenty of yarn, so I'm not worried about running out. I still haven't decided yet if I want to try to get the sleeves to match up with the body, or if I want to just make them random and even possibly make them like a solid color instead of a stripe. I don't know. This felt like a good sweater to be like very creative with it. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. I kind of like the idea of some variety of mismatched sleeves. So we'll just kind of have to see how that ends up. But I am actually really excited because I think I'm going to take this one on a road trip with me. We have a family trip coming up where we're going to be in the car for a while as I'm like shoving this back into my bag. So I thought this would be a good project to take with because I'm at the point on the body right now where it's kind of just mindless knitting in the round other than switching the colors every 4 rows. So I already have it packed up in my travel knitting bag, but I can probably squeeze a small project on top. So I think I'll probably take my sock knitting bag with me. I have 2 pairs of socks that are in progress. I haven't made a lot of progress on them, so I'm not even going to dig them out to show you right now. But I'm almost done knitting Christmas socks, so I will probably take the 2 pairs I have in progress with me to finish those up on the trip. But that's kind of it as far as my like active projects that I'm working on. I do have a couple scrap projects that are sort of going, but there's not enough to like really show. So I think I'll dive into my acquisitions. So I did not intend to buy a bunch of yarn this last month. It just sort of happened because there were really good sales at Michael's and then at Joann's. So I ended up with some stuff. But before I get to the big box craft store things, I wanted to show you a couple other little things. So first off, this is not actually an acquisition. This is frogged from another project. Actually, the same project that I frogged this yarn from. I know it's a Hobby Lobby hand-dyed skein, and originally I had this and 2 skeins of this neon green patterned yarn together in a Tunisian crochet shawl. And I probably should have held on to it and showed you here on the podcast before frogging it, But it was a shawl I made a while ago when I was still like very new to Tunisian crochet, very excited about it, and didn't know that Tunisian crochet eats yarn. So I had 3 skeins of yarn for the project, and I ended up with a very, very small shawl. And I really liked it. It was really pretty, but I couldn't find those colors again, so I wasn't able to like continue it and make it bigger, which is why I ended up with this one too. This was me trying to find a 3rd skein of the other yarn originally, and I just picked a coordinating color instead. But I now have this lovely skein of really deep navy blue variegated yarn that I can play with in a new project. So that was kind of exciting to get another skein of sock yarn out of something I already had where I didn't have to purchase it. The next thing I got, someone in my craft club actually gave me both of these. So it's a little bit of leftovers of this like kind of caramely, rosy, orangey pink yarn, and then this blue and earth tones color. And she said she doesn't know where she got it from, but I actually have a similar scrap cake up behind me. Let's see if I can point at it correctly. It's that like kind of dark purpley skein with some yellow towards the middle. And I think it's the same yarn. She said she got this from Sheep and Wool. I got that yarn from Sheep and Wool and made a sweater out of it. So I might be able to add this to that scrap cake of all those other colors and use it for something. Not sure what yet, but it was kind of exciting to get the similar yarn as scraps from somebody else. The other thing that I got that's not from Michaels or Joann, I ordered on Amazon, and this is the Granny Square card deck and booklet. I, as you can tell, have been into the bandana cowls lately, so I was looking for some more inspiration for motifs and things that I could adapt to be triangle shaped. So I don't know if this is quite going to fit the bill for that, but it comes with a little book that has all of the written patterns in it. And then each card has just the chart on the back, but also a really clear image of the Granny Square design. I'm not going to show the back because that would be giving away the pattern. But I really liked this set, that it was small and portable. This would be really easy to take while traveling for me. So I kind of liked that it was all compact and there's lots of options. So if I was ever working on like a scrap blanket on the road, I think it'd be really cool to take a bunch of different Granny Square designs and work it all in different brightly colored scraps. So this I would definitely suggest if you're looking to branch out into more like motif-based designs. On to the craft store extravaganza. So the first thing, well, here's what happened. I had a day where I realized I had time to actually go to a craft store and peruse a little bit, and decided to go, and did not know that a sale was happening at Michaels. And all yarn was 30% off, but they also had the $10 mystery boxes. So I got a mystery box. It is gigantic. And I believe that this will have spring and summer stuff in it. I have not actually opened it yet. I figured I'd open it here with you, although I'm really not sure how to like get this in frame correctly. So I think we're just gonna do this and rip off the tape. Maybe I should have at least peeled the tape off before turning the camera on. Okay, there we go. Tape is off. Box is opening. I was right. It's a lot of florals. So, oh my gosh, I think this box might be all florals, which is great because those are expensive. Okay, so I have quite a few of these pink flowers. Very pretty. Kind of tulipy looking. I'll just put those back there, make them part of the background. Then I have one kind of white with pink centers. Little guy there. There's quite a few of these kind of trumpet looking pink flowers. Okay. All the dark pink. Very pretty. Then I have one purple flower. Also pretty. Then I have some white tulips. I think, oh no, there's more than one of those too. So 2 of those. Yeah, I think just the 2 of those. And then some white kind of lily looking things. Here's another one. And another one. Is that it? Oh, nope. And another one. And another one. So lots of white. Ooh. And then the last thing in the box is some yellow and white daffodils. So clearly mine was only florals, as you can see behind me. But that actually makes me kind of excited because I was considering whether or not to cut my hair and decided that maybe I want to keep letting it grow for 1 more year so I can get 1 more Renaissance Fair season out of having long hair. And I was kind of debating if I should do a Rapunzel Renaissance Fair costume, and pink, purple, and white flowers just happened to show up in my mystery box. So maybe that's a sign that I should do that. We'll see. I don't know if I can hold out that long without cutting my hair, but we'll have to see. If not, I can definitely get like a flower crown out of it for the Renaissance Fair or some other sort of costume. But I think those flowers are really pretty. I just wasn't expecting the whole box to be flowers. So that's kind of funny. What else? Oh, here's my Michaels bag. So besides the mystery box, I did get some yarn. Yarn, I think this was the day that yarn was 30% off. So I started with some sock yarn, naturally. This is the Patons Croy sock yarn in the color Tourmaline Stripes, which is like black, gray, a deep purple, and a deep navy. I got 2 of those so that I could make a pair of socks. Then I also got the Patons Croy sock in the color Blue Raspberry, which is navy, purple, like a kind of plummy purple, a light blue, and a turquoise. Thought that one was kind of fun. So again, got 2 because got to make a pair of socks. The other yarn I got was one that I've kind of had my eye on for a while. I really love the Karen Cloud Cakes yarn. And for some reason, this colorway was just really calling my name. And I don't do a lot of like pinks and reds normally. Today's not a great example because I have bright pink stripes on my shirt. But I think it was the fact that the teal was thrown in there that really made me like this color. This colorway is called Saltwater Taffy, and it's got like a mauve, a raspberry, kind of a corally, a pale orange, and then that deep teal. And this is one of the softest yarns I think I've ever had. I love this. I got 4 cakes of this because I think I want a sweater made out of it. I haven't decided yet if I want it to be a cardigan or something else, but those are my 4 skeins of that. Then, still getting over a cold. On a different day, I decided to go to Joann. Got to Joann, and most of their yarn was buy 2, get 1 free, which presented a whole new conundrum of that's a really good deal, but I didn't have any projects in mind for what I was seeing. So I let myself get the yarn because that was exciting. But I tried to stick with colors that were a little bit more wearable as opposed to like the bright pink and turquoise stuff that you just saw. And focus on some yarns that I wanted to try but in more neutral, like blendable colors, I guess. So the first yarn I picked was the Bernat Lattice, which I've been looking at for a while just because I think the construction of it is so cool. But it's kind of a braided or like tube construction yarn, almost like chain stitched with like a soft main color and then a variegated secondary color that's kind of like ribbony looking. So this is the colorway Charcoal. The base is black, and then the variegated like ribbon thread running through it goes from like a white to a beige to like a charcoaly gray. So I thought this was still like a black yarn, but it was kind of fun and unique enough that I thought it could make a really cool finished object. I got 6 of these because I think I want to make either a pullover sweater, like a crew neck, or a hoodie with it, because it's just this really kind of deliciously soft yarn that I thought would be great for some sort of a like very cold weather sweater. So 6 of those in this bag. And then the other yarn, which was, or there's 2 other yarns, but one of them I actually did go into the store with the intent to buy it. And that was the DIY Glow yarn, because I'm making my Halloween costume with it. Again, I did do something with the DIY Glow last year for Halloween. I made a spiderweb top. I'm doing something different this year, but I needed more of the yarn, and Joanne happened to have it. So I got 6 of these. And then the last yarn I picked up was one that I know is newer, and I kind of wanted to get it before it disappeared because it seemed like one that would be limited edition. But it's the Big Twist Supernova, and there were a lot of really bright, fun colors in this, but I found myself really liking the deep fall tones in this one. This colorway is called Terraforming. I got 3 of these, and I'm thinking I want to do one of the hooded scarves by Wickedly Handmade. I already have the pattern for it. I think it's called the Wisteria. No, Wisteria is one of her other patterns. It's definitely called a hooded scarf, and I know it's some sort of a poisonous plant, but I don't remember which one it is because all of her patterns are named after poisonous plants. I'd have to go look that one up to remember what it is, but I might make one of those, and that might end up being like part of my Thanksgiving outfit if it's cool enough out for that. But we'll just have to see when we get there, and if I have time. That's the bigger part, is if I have time to do that. Okay, that was all the stuff I had to show you. Lots of things all over the floor now that I'm looking at and wondering how to put it away. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in my other crafty content, make sure you subscribe to my channel here so that you can see everything I post to YouTube. And if you want to follow me on other social media sites, that information will be in the description box below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.